Hi YouTube, Team Imperius is back finally with another deck profile. This is Greg's updated Gear Chronicle deck. This is post, the new trial decks
and the new set.
And GBTO5?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't keep track.
We got there.
I don't keep track anymore, damn it.
Gonna be honest, GBTO5 doesn't have jack in it that goes in this deck, but whatever.
Whatever, we got there. Okay, so yeah. So let Greg take it away.
Okay. So for the starter, we run Chrono Jet. He's easily the best starter they have. Its effect is you time leap him, search for a Chrono Jet, call him to rearguard circle, and then at the end of the turn, that Chrono Jet goes to your hand. You put him in this hole, by the way. But so essentially, you get a free column to attack with, and a card goes to your hand. There is a fun little attack sequence you can do where you attack 4 times, and you get 7 cards in your hand afterwards, which is kind of cool. But I mean, every other channel who has done this profile has done the same thing. I'm just really lazy and haven't gotten my profile up. I've had this literal deck since all this stuff has come out, so whatever. For grade 3s, we run 4 Chrono Jet Dragon. I mean, if you're not running this, you're probably not running a really good deck, unfortunately. He's a good card.
I'm Brady calling people out.
Okay, so the only reason I'm saying that is because Gear Chronicle kind of suck without him.
Just a little bit.
Like, he's
you
just
have
the
a
main
grade
card.
3 that's only job is to get him on the Vanguard circle.
Yeah, which would be the next one, which is Bailiff. For those of you who don't know, though, real fast, let me explain what Chrono Jet does. His GBA2 effect is Glory Maelstrom, plus 5k, can't guard with grade 1s or higher. His Counterblast 1 on Stride effect is your opponent sends something to the bottom of their deck. So he's just the best option. There's nothing else. Unfortunately, the Eagle's cool. I tried it, didn't like it. I've tried all the other 3s. The Legions, I've tried them. They just don't work. Unfortunately, the best Strides need him in the heart. So this is where we are. The next 3 I run is Bailiff. His GB1 effect is when he hits, Counterblast 1, spend something. His other effect, and the only effect you realistically use, is when something strides on top of it, it gets the ability, you can Counterblast 1, search your deck for a Chrono Jet, and replace it in the heart, and Bailiff goes to the bottom. So essentially, Bailiff is just an 8, makes your deck be 8 Chrono Jets. So it's why you play it, it's what you do. I guess it works. Next for 2s. Run. Whoops. Dropping cards.
Dang it, Gregory.
I blame Kelly.
We practiced
Hey!
I blame Kelly.
Not my fault.
It's always Kelly's fault.
Not my fault.
It's Upstream Dragon. He's a 13k attacker, and then he bounces out into a 2, or into a 1, which is pretty dope, if you ask me. Essentially just helps you build a field. You can get him out of the front zones so that if you're playing against like Messiah and stuff, they can't lock it. Obviously Chaos Breaker's a different story, but you just don't really ever commit to the board against Chaos Breaker, and you kind of beat them just with your Vanguard circle. It's kind of dope, actually. It's a hard matchup, but it's not one you can't win at all by any means. He's also one of your better attackers. The next card you run is Relic Master Dragon. You're out to the grade 2 game. You do not care if you waste that 2 Counterblast. It is not that important. It is more important you live. So this deck unflips like it's nobody's business, so you got this. He's Counterblast 2, spend something. He's your Berserk Dragon clone. I love this card. Nothing more to be really said. The final 2, which I only really run so I can spam off the 7-card turn thingamabob, is Relic Master Dragon. He time leaps something. He can be kind of cool if you have like say a 1 on board, and you don't have a way to get like a 2 out, or like you're just trying to like apply pressure. He does it, but in general I don't really use him all that much. He's just kind of a 9k vanilla or an early game unit, and besides like maybe once or twice use his effect. Next for 1s, we of course run 4 Perfect Guards. Since you have a 2 that bounces out, you don't actually have to worry about a front row attacking situation. You essentially just play your play your cards out, they bounce out, and then you don't have to worry about it. Also, Metalborgs just don't scare you. They build a field, they commit, you literally let them do their thing. Sure, they put you to 5 and apply pressure. Next turn, you just board wipe them. They lost all the cards that they had on the board, and they now have to use their cards from their hand to recommit to it. Yeah, they probably will have another Laurel, but still, having to commit just hurts them so hard. So, you being able to board wipe in this deck is just so good. Next one is your Stride Fodder. This is a Stride deck. We run 8 grade 3s. We run 4 Stride Fodder. I need to Stride. I don't win if I don't Stride. Enough said. Next you run 4 Steam Fighter Earn Ninging. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Ninging. Ning 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 ning. Sounds like I'm trying to start chainsaw or something. Ringing. Alright, but he is, if you have a Chrono Jet Vanguard, which you always do, and something is spun, you unflip something. Note, if you have 3 out and you have 1 counterblast to damage and you spin something, all 3 trigger at the same time, and they cannot be used for the remainder of the turn. So, you know, you can't just like spam off his effect whenever you want, but if you have, 1 open counterblast and you spin something, you unflip 2 technically. So it's kind of cool. Next, the last one is 2 Steam Scar GG. GG is your Soul Blast 2 draw card. Essentially, you bounce out into her from the upstream dragons, and you time leap her into Chrono Drawn if you don't really have that cool turn. Getting a plus off of time leaping and all that's kind of nice. For triggers, it's kind of straightforward. Just 12 crit. Why? Because next stage is terrifying, and you need damage. In Gear Chronicle, getting as much damage in where you can is kind of really important. It works, and you also have all of the guard restriction effects, which if you have guard restriction effects, critical is kind of a good thing. So it works. I like it. You don't need the draws because you've got GG to replace it, and you have the time leap shenanigans. You just plus on your own, so it's not really that hard to do. And then you have 4 heals because I like living, and healing early game is kind of dope. Next for strides.
Healing in general is kind of dope.
Yeah, I run 1 Metallica Phoenix. When he swings, you unflip anything, and you play Enter Sandman or something. But while you're doing it...
It's metal as fuck, bro.
It is metal as fuck. But when you swing, you unflip something, and you time leap. So, your turn, your main play, you use this, you can hit a Chrono Drawn, it's just good card, good effect, you do it, it works. The next stride I run is 1 Chronos Command Dragon. So the reason I run the 1 of this, and I will always run the 1 of this, just for this very specific reason, when you flip him with Metallica Phoenix. Why? Your opponent now thinks you're running Chrono Jet Revolution. I personally like Revolution, so I run it. But even if I was not, I would still run this so my opponent would not commit to the board as much so they, don't get Revolutioned. That's why I like this card. It's kind of a psych out. Obviously, if my opponent has 1 card in their hand and they just unloaded, on their grade 2 game because they were stupid, I'm not going to go into Metallica Phoenix, and I'm going to go into this, and I'm going to take your board, and I'm going to sit there and laugh in a corner. But, it's more of just a psych out at this point, and it's really pretty. I'm going to get the secret rare ones. Yay.
Yeah, money.
I mean, Julie's getting it for me, so I'm Gucci. Next, I run to Revolution. I'm trying this. I've been playtesting it the past couple weeks. Love it. Works really, really well. Was playing against somebody playing Chaos Breaker. I hadn't really committed to the board. He committed to the board, locked 2 of my units. I Revolutioned, saved the other 2 units on my board, and spun his board. He now had the 7 cards in his hand, but no board to commit to, and he eventually lost because his entire way to win was he was calling out and plussing off of Colony Maker, and that just didn't matter anymore. because I shut it off with Revolution. It's kind of dope. So, also works really, really well against, you know, anything that commits to a board, period. Neo Nectar kind of lose to it, stuff like that. So I run it. It's probably not a stride I go into frequently. More than often, you go into this dude, which is probably one of the best strides in the game, Chrono Dragon Next Edge. If you don't run for this, you're probably gonna have a hard time. No, I mean, I've done it. It's super... Trust me, I've done it. I did it for states. I didn't have the other two. It's incredibly difficult, but finally just forked over the extra $100 or so and just bought them. But they are absolutely magical. When it swings, you discard 3, counterblast 1, unflip a copy, and it destrides and restands your Chrono Jet. So it's a pseudo restander. You get 5 drive checks, and you go into a Glory Maelstrom. Kind of good. Kind of works. I like it. And if you're running 12 crit, 5 drive checks, seems good. Seems good. So, you know, this is the main win con for the deck. I used to wait until they were at 5 damage to do it. Now, turn 2 stride, unless you're a super board, reliant committee deck, I'm just going to go straight into this thing. And it's going to be, you're going to have a bad day. Because it's incredibly hard to get past. In general, you know, you're spinning something, you're swinging, it's kind of dope. Plus, you know, it's Gear Chronicle, so they have guard restriction, which is dope. Noted, not running any of the guard restricting 2s. These 2s are just currently better, unfortunately. I love the Silent Tom. When he's called counterblast 1, he becomes a Tom, but that's really for a time leap deck. If the time leap stuff becomes a little bit more consistent and they just push it a little bit farther, I might switch over to that. But for now, the board control / little combo-y thing here is realistically the best route to go. This deck pretty much looks identical to most of the other ones you'll see online. I just have been putting it up late. I've been playing it, playtesting, talking to a lot of those guys. So, you know, it's very similar, but it's a good one. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any, you know, why are you playing this over this, please ask. I'll be happy to answer them. It's just, you know, I playtest this very, very frequently, so I got you guys. If you have any, you know, comments or anything else, please leave it below.
Alright. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Bye.